Hughes, and I'm here in Glasgow with the lovely Billy Pettinger, aka Billy the Kid.
Hi.
Billy, you're on tour against me at the moment. Was this the second or third night of the tour now, or something like that? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. How's that going then? How's that been?
It's really lovely.
Been received well?
Yeah, originally I was following them around in a little car, and the first night they were like, why don't you just come on the bus with us? So it's been really fun.
Brilliant, brilliant. How have the crowds been?
Great. I think most of the shows they're sold out or they're pretty packed.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Have their fans been taken to you quite well?
Yeah, they have a very, I think, accepting and kind of open fan base, so
yeah.
It's been good.
You're doing kind of acoustic, it's all acoustic stuff you're doing in this one, yeah. I suppose they started off acoustic as well against me, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the early stuff was like
Yeah.
cool. So the next question was, what's it like being in a tour with Laura and the guys in the band? Obviously, you're enjoying that quite well then, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of know each other through mutual friends, and we met years ago. But yeah, they're a really great bunch of people. It's such a great thing when somebody that you look up to musically or was important to you when you were kind of growing up and just figuring it out and starting to do music, and then you meet them, and they're these incredible people too, so it's just like a really neat
So you were a fan of the band kind of thing anyway?
Yeah.
Is this your first time in Scotland?
It is. I'm so happy to be here. I've been dying to come here. Unfortunately, I haven't really got to see anything, but yeah, I'm hoping that if I ever come through, I've been dying to come here. So.
I was obviously you being Canadian. Is there any Scottish blood in your family? There's a lot of Scots expats out in Canada.
I don't think so. I know somebody's going to watch this and I'm going to hear all about it, I'm sure. I definitely have some English and Irish.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so you missed the best bit though, do you know
what
I mean? Right. So the next one was, have you had much chance to see him in Glasgow? Not really kind of thing. What time did you get here at?
We didn't get here too late, but I just kind of, as much as I could, hoofed it around the venue and tried to see as much as I could, but then you get into like, you know, I'm doing my own merch and stuff like that. So, so yeah, it's you go right into the work day pretty much. I had great plans though to like wake up early and like go somewhere, and it was just like, let's just get this day going. Plus I don't want to miss anything. Like, you know, I love to watch them sound check, as weird as that, because they're really funny, and it's like I don't want to miss anything, and like just to be around them. It's only a week tour, so I just feel like I want to take advantage of everything and remember as much as I can.
Yeah, fair enough. Were you touring in the States or something before you came over here?
The last thing was with Billy Bragg in Canada and the States.
Okay, cool. So the new album, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, that's out now on Extra Mile Records, we were huge fans of it. I gave it a 5-star review, and it's only the second one I've given out this year, so that shows you how much we like. Restorations.
Oh, okay.
They've just released one there like this month kind of thing, but they'd one at the start of your LP too, which I loved. The yours was better. And I'm not just saying that, it actually was.
That's a huge compliment, thank you.
So how's the album been received? Has it been doing well?
I try to not really pay attention too much, but when I have paid attention, it's been good. So this is the first time that there's been like a support group and like a team, the guys from Extra Mile and Frank Turner helping me make it. So yeah, it's always kind of surprising to me, because I just was like, okay, this is just a thing that I do like in my house, and every once in a while I go on tour if I can, and this has been the longest stretch in a while that I've just been doing this. So it made me think like maybe I can keep doing this. I just hope this keeps working.
So you worked very closely with Frank Turner on this album, and he produced it and he was playing on it as well. Kind of thing. How did that come about?
It was just one of those things where I had a day off in a city where he had a show, and a mutual friend was kind of like, hey, you should come and hang out, and he recommended that I ask if I could open the show, so I very like sheepishly, meekly was like, this is going to sound super weird, but any chance that there's no opening act yet, I know it's a long shot, I'll be hanging out either way. And he was like, well, why don't you come and sing a song with us, and the label guys were there. And we just kind of hit it off. We didn't really talk about music, or I had no idea that we'd end up working together. It was just this like fun time. The air conditioning was broke. It was like the hottest day in Toronto, and just like the sweatiest, messiest, craziest show. And a couple weeks later, it started out with they were going to re-release my last album that I made, and I sneakily was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if I put a couple extra songs on there? And I sent them 36 demos, and they were like, let's just make a new album. And we hope you don't mind.
36.
Yeah, we hope you don't mind, but we sent some of the songs to Frank, and I was like, oh cool, what songs? And they're like, well, we sent all of them. And I was like, oh great, well what did he say? And they're like, well, would you maybe want to work together? I was like, let's do it.
Excellent, excellent, yeah. The first song in the album that really kind of grabbed me when I listened to it, my first listen was Lord Let Me.
Thank you.
And it was kind of weird because it's like all about the troubles in Northern Ireland and stuff like that, good Canadian and everything. Do you know, what was the sort of drive behind that song?
I'm so glad you asked, because I'm sure that people must wonder, what do I know about, you know, I name drop like IRA and
Shankill Road and all these kind of things.
Okay, so it's the imaginary love story of my grandparents falling in love.
Right.
It took, you know, we hear about it in the news, but it took me traveling to, I rented a little car and I drove all around Ireland. I visited the city where my grandmother was born, the place where she grew up. And I ended up in Belfast, where I'm pretty sure my grandfather was stationed, and it just kind of hit me one day of like, she was Irish and Roman Catholic, and he was English and Protestant. Mm-hmm. That's probably why we're from Canada, because they probably had to get the hell out of there. So I was kind of trying to write it. I mean, it's, you know, I make up a couple facts. I don't know if they ever walked down that road, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's kind of me imagining from her perspective of what that would have been like. You know, you meet somebody, you like them, and you know, some of us have been in that situation where distance separates you, or it just seems like this impossible thing. Like, how are we going to do this? And so, yeah, there you have it.
That's like the best answer I've ever had, and I love that. Thank you for that.
So it's like a political love story for my grandparents, kind of.
Cool. Excellent. This question's from my wife, believe it or not. She wanted to know if you found it difficult being a woman in a very male-oriented music genre.
The only times that it's been difficult are every once in a while, very rarely, you just come across, you know, that old sexism that's been around for ages.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, people like against me and Chuck Reagan and these people who've kind of taken me under their wing, and none of them are like that. And you know, it's great with Laura because we were kind of doing our makeup the other day, and I was like, it's so cool to not be the only girl around. It's like, you know, we can do things like, you know, do our makeup together, and it's not just like me, this rogue girl. But I think growing up in this, and like especially punk rock, people are generally open-minded, accepting. Like coming from Vancouver, it never was an issue. I didn't realize that I was a girl or that it mattered. You know what I mean? There were so many other women playing music, these great bands like Submission Hold, and that I would go see, and it just was totally normal. And it wasn't until I started traveling that I started to see that, like, okay, like it's still everywhere. You know, you go far enough, you're going to find racism, you're going to find homophobia. It's unfortunately in so many places in the world still. But overall, this is a very safe community for everybody. Yeah,
so. Definitely. So who were your kind of big influences musically when you were growing up, and what kind of stuff do you listen to these days?
Well, I grew up in the 90s, so it was a lot of, like my first cassette was Nirvana, and then I got into more like punk rock stuff. These days, I'm a really big Ryan Adams fan. I've seen him a bunch. But a lot of my peers, weirdly enough, like it's hard to even listen to their music because they're around. Like the New Against Me record is amazing. So this is kind of weird. Turning into a weirdo now. Chuck Reagan just put out a great new album.
It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So on Rock and Roll Reviews as well as doing music, we cover movies as well, kind of thing. Are you a big movie fan? Are you loving the films?
Yeah.
So have you seen anything recently? We always ask everybody this. Have you seen anything recently that you loved, or anything that just sucked ass?
I'm so glad you asked. We went and saw Interstellar at the Space and Rocket Center in Alabama, and I think like 45 minutes of it were shot on huge film, so it's like you watch the movie and all the space shit is like humongous, like on the huge screen, and you're like terrified because you're flying through the air, and so that was awesome. I can't really think of the last bad movie. It was probably late at night on the bus, and nobody's really paying attention anyways, but there's something funny in that anyway. It's just putting on a terrible movie and laughing at it.
Yeah, totally. Well, listen, thanks very much, Billy. It's been great speaking to you.
Good to meet you.
Billy Pettinger, aka Billy the Kid, new album, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, out just now on Extra Mile Records. I am begging you, no, in fact I'm telling you, go and buy the record. You need to hear it. Thanks again, Billy.